Welcome back. I'm Matt Santianes with MS Partners LLC. I buy and sell vacant land throughout the U.S. I'm the land guy. So, do you need a survey on your land? Well, that depends, as it always does, right? For the most part, you having a survey would be beneficial. But if you're just gonna buy the properties as an investment, maybe just to kind of sit on it and not do anything with it, hold it for many years, sell it in the future, um, then you probably don't need a survey. If you are going to build in the future, well, let's just do a list of reasons that you probably should get or you do need a survey. If you're going to build, so you're buying a vacant piece of land and you have the intent to start building in the near future. So if you're getting any sort of loan, I believe the banks are going to require it, but having a survey regardless is going to be needed just so you don't so you know the setbacks, right? If you have a really big piece of land, like 10, 20 acres plus, obviously you're not too worried about setbacks and whatnot. So even then, it may not be necessary, but I think some banks will require that. One reason that, number two reason that you're going to need a survey is if you see any encroachment issues on the property boundary. So if your property is a square shape and it looks like the neighbor has a building that is encroaching into your property line, uh, as far as working with banks and stuff like that, they will require a survey. And it's just good to know where the property lines are. That could lead to potential legal issues with the neighbor if they need to move something, if they can or not, with a building. I have bought properties with encroachment issues, and it can be an issue, or it can just be something that, hey man, your building is on my property, just so you know, and you could just leave it at that. But if you do have encroachment, is it a good idea to get a survey? If you're doing an easement on a property, right? The property's landlocked, and you're working with a neighbor to get an easement to your property. So you're going to need a survey in that case. And typically, you're working with the surveyor anyways to record that easement. So normally they'll actually draft it up for you in the easement. I mean, in the survey. So those two things kind of go hand in hand. So if you need an easement, you're going to need one. If you have limited building area on a property, let's say you have an acre, typically lots of room to build, but if the majority of that acre is on a cliff basically, and you just have a little spot to build a house, well, depending where that is on the property, if it's right near the edge of the property, the corner of the property, you're going to want a survey because you have to meet those setback requirements with the county. Um, and if you have a really small area to build, you're going to want to know what you can build, how big you can build, or even if it's physically possible to build a house in that specific area that you want. If you're in a very mountainous area, lots of land has slopes on it. It's nice you've got 3 acres of mountainous property, but the problem is it's all on the side of a mountain, except for say a quarter acre that is not quite as steep as everything else. So in these cases, you're going to want a survey. If you have a vacant piece of land and you want to put a fence on it, definitely want to get a survey. There's nothing worse than you just paid thousands of dollars for a nice white picketed fence only to come to find out that you built it 5 feet into the neighbor's property, which could be something that neighbor says, hey, thank you for the free fence, or could be a legal issue where they try to get you to move the entire fence. And that probably wouldn't be cheap. So those are the reasons basically that you're going to want to get a survey. Um, Other than that, you can go about buying, selling vacant land really easy without a survey. It's not required. I bought hundreds of properties, and of the hundreds of properties that I've bought, really maybe a handful or less than 10 for sure have I ever gotten a survey. So it depends on your goals, but I hope that helps. If you found this content useful, please like and subscribe. And if you or anybody you know are looking to sell a vacant piece of property, feel free to reach out to us at USA123land.com. And as always, you guys take care. Flip dirt, surf more, live well. See you next time.